The steam clung to my skin like a secret I couldn't shake. The shower's heat still pulsing through my veins as I twisted the faucet off. I reached for the towel, heart thudding from a day that had already cracked me open. Another lecture on identity that felt like a mirror held too close. Then the door creaked open without a knock. And there was Liam, my roommate of 3 months, his silhouette sharp against the hallway light, eyes locking onto mine in a collision that stripped me bare before I could even cover up. Everett. That's me. 21 years old. A junior at the University of Washington in Seattle. Majoring in psychology because I thought understanding the human mind might fix the chaos in my own. I'd always been the quiet one. The guy who blended into the rain-slicked sidewalks of Capitol Hill, nursing coffees in dimly lit cafes while scrolling through anonymous forums about feelings I dared not name aloud. Growing up in a sleepy suburb outside Portland, where Sundays meant church potlucks and dads grilling burgers with quiet expectations, I'd learned early to bury the questions that bubbled up at night. Why did my pulse race when the locker room banter turned too close? Why did the ache in my chest feel like homesickness for a place I'd never been? Liam changed into my life like a storm rolling off Puget Sound sudden. Electric. Impossible to ignore. He was 22. A transfer from UCLA. Studying environmental science with a fire in his voice that made professors lean in. Mixed heritage. His dad from Jamaica. Mom from Seattle's Irish roots. He carried himself with this effortless grace. Curly hair cropped close. Skin like polished mahogany under the fluorescence of our cramped dorm. We'd been thrown together by housing lottery. 2 strangers unpacking boxes in late August. The air thick with the scent of fresh paint and unspoken awkwardness. He joked about my collection of indie vinyls. I teased him about his endless supply of herbal teas. Surface stuff. Safe. But that night in the bathroom, it shattered the glass we'd built between us. I stood there, towel clutched like a lifeline, water pooling at my feet, my body exposed in ways that went deeper than skin. Liam didn't bolt. He didn't laugh it off. His gaze got. That gaze traveled slow, deliberate, from my dripping hair down the line of my collarbone, lingering where it shouldn't, then snapping back to my face. Shit. Everett. He breathed, voice rough like gravel under tires. I thought you were out. I wanted to vanish. To laugh. Say sorry. Wrap the towel tighter and pretend it was nothing. But my throat closed up. Words trapped behind the heat rising in my cheeks. The air hummed. Charged. Like the moment before thunder cracks. He stepped in. Door clicking shut behind him. The space shrinking until I could smell his cologne cedar and rain mixing with the steam. You okay? He asked. Softer now. His hand hovering like he might touch my shoulder, but thought better of it. I nodded. Mute. My heart slamming against ribs that felt too fragile. He grabbed a spare towel from the rack, handing it over without looking away. And in that exchange, something shifted. A spark. A question. We didn't speak of it after dressed in silence. Crashed into our beds with the divider curtain pulled taut, but it haunted me. Dreams twisted with fragments, his eyes. The steam. The what-if that clawed at my sleep. Days blurred into a rhythm of avoidance laced with stolen glances. Lectures on Freud and repression hit harder now. My notebook filling with doodles of locked doors and open windows. Liam acted normal brewing tea in the mornings. blasting reggae playlists while studying. But I caught the pauses. The way he'd linger when handing me a mug. Fingers brushing mine just a beat too long. Seattle's autumn rain mirrored my mood. Gray skies pressing down as leaves turned gold and fell like forgotten promises. One evening, after a brutal group project left me frayed, I found him on the fire escape, nursing a beer, staring at the city lights twinkling like distant confessions. "Mind if I join?" I muttered, slipping out beside him, the metal cold under my palms. He shrugged, offering me the bottle. Our fingers touched again, deliberate this time, and I didn't pull away. "About the other night," he started, voice low against the patter of rain. "I didn't mean to." "It's fine," I cut in, too quick, sipping the bitter warmth. But it wasn't. The words hung, heavy, until he turned, his profile sharp in the sodium glow. "Everett, it wasn't fine. For me. Either." My breath caught. We'd danced around it for weeks. But here it was, raw and real. He told me first halting words about growing up with a dad who preached resilience but whispered doubts about that lifestyle. About hookups in LA that left him hollow, searching for something true amid the glitter. I listened, the city humming below us. And then it spilled out of me, the confusion, the fear. The way I'd kissed a girl in high school to prove something to myself and felt nothing but ash. By midnight, we'd drained the beer and cracked open truths we'd both hidden. His hand found mine on the railing. Tentative. Then sure. And when our eyes met, the world narrowed to that point of contact, warm, alive, terrifying. We didn't kiss. Not yet. But as we climbed back inside, the air between us crackled with possibility. A thread pulling taut. The weeks that followed were a fever dream of stolen moments. Study sessions turned intimate. Knees brushing under the desk. Laughter spilling over notes on climate models and cognitive dissonance. Liam's touch lingered, a hand on my back, guiding me through a crowded quad. His breath warm against my ear during a late-night movie on my laptop. I felt seen. Truly seen. For the first time. Like the parts of me I'd shuttered away were blooming under his gaze. But Seattle's rain couldn't wash away the shadows. My parents called one Sunday. Their voices tinny through the speaker. Mom asking about grades. Dad probing about that nice girl from your lit class. Lies tasted sour. And when I hung up, Liam was there, arms wrapping around me from behind. "You don't have to carry that alone," he murmured, lips brushing my neck. That was the night we crossed the line slow. Exploratory kisses in the dark. Bodies mapping each other with the reverence of explorers charting unknown lands. His skin against mine was revelation. Every sigh and gasp erasing years of silence. Yet hauntings don't fade so easily. Whispers started on campus, a classmate spotting us at a queer poetry slam. The rumor mill grinding slow but relentless. Everett and Liam. No way. It hit like frost, creeping into my bones. I pulled back. Excuses piling up, too much work. Headache. Anything to avoid the vulnerability. Liam saw through it, his eyes darkening with hurt. "This isn't just some phase for me," he said one night, voice breaking. "If you're scared, say it. But don't ghost me." I couldn't. The fear was of Vice family expectations. The what-ifs of a world that still judged. One afternoon, alone in the dorm, I stared at my reflection. The same face that had lied to mirrors for years. Enough, I thought. Enough hiding. That decision ignited everything. I texted Liam, "Meet me at the lake." Twilight painted Lake Washington in hues of lavender and gold. The water lapping gentle against the shore as I waited. Nerves twisting like vines. He arrived breathless. Jacket slung over one shoulder. Concern etching lines around his eyes. "Everett, what's going on?" I took his hand, leading him to a secluded bench under weeping willows, their branches draping like veils. Words tumbled out, apologies. Fears. The raw ache of wanting this. Us. More than the safety of silence. He listened, thumb tracing circles on my palm. And when I finished, he pulled me close, foreheads touching. "I've been scared too," he admitted. "But you're worth the storm." Our kiss, there was different, deeper. Anchored, sealing a pact against the gales. We walked back hand in hand, unashamed, the city lights welcoming us like old friends. For a while, it was bliss, weekend hikes in the Cascades, where we'd steal kisses amid evergreens. Quiet dinners at hole-in-the-wall Ethiopian spots, feeding each other injera under strings of Edison bulbs. Liam's laugh became my favorite sound, rich and unfiltered, chasing away the doubts. But storms brew quiet. My roommate dynamic shifted our space, now a sanctuary of shared secrets, but also a pressure cooker. One night, after a party where too many shots loosened tongues, we stumbled home tangled, shedding clothes in a trail from door to bed. It was passionate, urgent, body speaking what words couldn't. Afterward, lying spent in his arms, I whispered, "I love you." The words hung, vulnerable, and he smiled, soft. "I love you too, Ev." Morning brought clarity and consequence. A knock rattled the door at dawn. My RA, face pinched, holding a complaint slip. "Anonymous tip," she said, eyes flicking between us. "Sheets ask you. PDA in the halls. Keep it private, or we talk options." Humiliation burned, but Liam's grip tightened on mine under the covers. "We're not hiding," he said firmly. She left with a nod, but the seed was planted, eyes everywhere. Judgments waiting. Campus life amped the tension. A guest speaker on queer rights fired me up, her stories of Stonewall echoing my own quiet battles. But the Q&A turned ugly questions laced with concern about lifestyles clashing with values. I stood to speak, voice steady for the first time. Love isn't a choice. Hiding it is. Applause rippled. But later, in the bathroom stall, tears came hot. Liam found me, pulling me into a hug that smelled of pine and promise. "You're brave," he murmured. "Braver than me." His own ghost surfaced soon after. A call from home, his dad, voice booming through the phone. Casual at first, then probing, "That roommate of yours, everything good?" Liam's face paled, lies spilling easy but leaving him wrecked. We drove to Discovery Park that afternoon, salt air whipping as he unloaded, the pressure to be the strong one, the son who carried the family name without complication. I want to tell them, he said, staring at the Olympics across the sound. About us. About me. I held him as waves crashed, my own heart pounding. Then let's do it together. That night, under a blanket fort of dorm sheets, we planned gentle emails, visits home, a united front. It felt right. Revolutionary. Yet fate loves a twist. Midterms loomed. Stress coiling tight. When disaster struck. I collapsed during a run chest seizing. Vision blurring. Hospital lights harsh. Doctors murmuring about anxiety attacks masking deeper fractures. You've been holding too much, the therapist said later. Her office overlooking Elliott Bay. Liam sat vigil, hand in mine, his fear mirroring my own. I can't lose you, he whispered in the dim room. Machines beeping soft. Recovery was slow pills for panic. Sessions unpacking the weight of unspoken truths. Liam became my anchor, brewing ginger tea, reading aloud from Audre Lorde until my eyelids drooped. Gratitude swelled, but so did guilt. Was I dragging him down? One evening, as rain lashed the window, I voiced it. What if I'm too broken? He cupped my face, eyes fierce. We're all a little broken. That's what makes the mending beautiful. His kiss was tender, a vow, and in that moment, I believed him. Spring unfurled tentative cherry blossoms dusting the quad pink, our hands brushing boulder in public. We joined the Campus Pride Alliance, tabling with rainbow pins and stories that bridged our worlds. Laughter came easier. Nights tangled in limbs and whispers of futures, grad school. Road trips down the coast. A life unapologetic. But the hauntings lingered. Shadows lengthening. An email from my parents. We're visiting next month. Bring that girl to dinner. Dread pulled cold. Liam sensed it, squeezing my thigh under the table at a cafe. We'll face it, he said. Together. The visit arrived like a thunderhead. Dinner at a family-style Italian spot in Belltown. Candles flickering on red-checkered cloths. My folks' mom with her pearls. Dad in his pressed khakis eyed Liam politely at first, assuming the roommate tag. Conversation flowed surface, weather, jobs, safe harbors. Then Mom leaned in. Voice honeyed, so, Everett, when do we meet this special someone? The table stilled. Liam's fork paused midair. I swallowed, pulse roaring. Actually, it's Liam. The words dropped like stones into still water. Ripple spreading. Dad's brow furrowed. Mom's smile faltered. Questions tumbled confusion. Concern. The veiled, are you sure? That cut deeper than anger. Liam's hand found mine under the table. Steady. I love your son, he said, voice even. And he loves me. That's the truth. Silence stretched, taut, until Mom reached across. Tears glistening. We just want you happy. Everett. Dad nodded gruff, clearing his throat. Takes getting used to. Relief crashed, mingled with ache. Hugs goodbye were awkward but real. A door cracking open. Driving back. Liam hooped, pulling over to kiss me senseless against the dashboard. We did it. He gasped. Freedom tasted like salt and stars. Summer beckoned. Internships calling us to opposite coasts, some to Portland for research. Him to Berkeley for fieldwork. Distance loomed. A test of the fragile thing we'd built. Airport goodbyes were brutal. Arms clinging. Promises whispered, daily calls. Weekend flights. Faith in the pull between us. Months stretched. Texts a lifeline. Photos of sunsets over the Willamette. Videos of him knee-deep in tide pools. Loneliness gnawed. But so did grow them diving into therapy. Owning my story. Him advocating at conferences. Voice amplified. Letters arrived. Handwritten. Ink smudged with seawater or coffee stains. Words that wrapped around my heart. You're my North Star. Ev. Come home soon. Fall reunion was fireworks reunited at Seattle Tacoma. Bodies colliding in a hug that drew stares. Our dorm waited. Familiar yet changed. Posters of queer icons tacked proud. Nights blurred in rediscovery. Laughter echoing off walls that had witnessed our becoming. Yet dreams still whispered warnings. One night, tangled in sheets, Liam stirred, murmuring in sleep names from his past. Regrets surfacing like driftwood. I held him closer. But doubt crept. Was our love resilient enough for the long haul? Campus buzzed with elections. Debates on rights raging. Pulling us into rallies where chants of love is love drowned fears. We marched arm in arm. Signs aloft. The energy electric. But afterward, in the quiet of an after-party, a stranger's hand lingered too long on Liam's waist. Jealousy flared. Irrational. And I stormed out into the chill. He found me on our fire escape. Rain-slicked and shivering. Talk to me. He pleaded, pulling me into his warmth. Insecurity spilled fears of not measuring up. Of him finding someone bolder. He silenced me with a kiss. Fierce. You're it for me. No one else sees me like you do. Vulnerability bridged us. Deeper bonds forged in the admitting. Winter holidays tested further. I flew home alone. Portland's fog mirroring my mood. Family dinner was tentative, mom's questions gentle now. Dad's silence is thawing with a gruff, proud of you, son. But whispers from extended kin stung, phase. I escaped to a bar, nursing whiskey, when my phone lit with Liam's face. Miss you, he said, voice homesick from Jamaica. Beach is golden but empty without me. Can't wait to build our traditions. New year brought resolve. Back in Seattle, we hosted our first party, queer friends spilling into the dorm. Music pulsing. Stories shared over spiked punch. Laughter wove us tighter. A chosen family blooming. But mid-semester, crisis hit Liam, his grant denied. Dreams of ocean conservation slipping. Rage and despair warred in him. Nights pacing. Eyes hollow. I listened. Held space. Then pushed. Apply again. Your voice matters. Collaborating on his appeal became our ritual, late nights poring over data. My psych insights sharpening his narrative. Success came in an email, funded. Celebration was euphoric, dancing in the rain. Body slick. Joy unbridled. Couldn't without you. He panted, spinning me under streetlights. Spring senior projects loomed. Mine a thesis on queer resilience. Interviews weaving tales like hours into data. Liam's fieldwork took him to the San Juans. Weekends apart bridged by voice notes thick with affection. One trip, he surprised me ferry ride at dawn. Picnic on Orcas Island. Seals barking as we vowed forever under eagle cries. Marry me someday, he asked, ringless but earnest. Tears pricked. I nodded, heart full. Graduation neared. Futures diverging yet converging. Job offers, me in counseling at a Seattle clinic. Him with Noah in the sound. But family shadows lengthen Liam's dad visiting. Tensions simmering over dinner. Awkward toasts hid barbs. And later, alone, Liam broke. He'll never accept this. I held him through sobs, whispering, he will, or we make our own family. The climax brewed unexpected. Pride weekend. Floats thundering down 4th Avenue. Rainbows everywhere. We marched front line. Banners high. When counter-protesters jeered slurs slicing air. A bottle flew, shattering near. Chaos erupted. In the scrum, Liam shoved me clear, taking a shove that bloodied his lip. Adrenaline surged. I fought back, fists clenched, until cops waded in. Backstage in a medic tent, ice on his swelling. He grinned through pain. Worth it. For us. That night, under festival lights, we danced slow, defiant bodies swaying to anthems of survival. Haunts me still, I murmured. That first door opening. He pulled closer. But look what it unlocked. Post-grad haze settled. Leases signed for a tiny Fremont apartment exposed brick. View of the ship canal. Moving day was chaos, boxes teetering. Laughs echoing. Unpacking unearthed my old journal. Pages yellowed with doubts. Liam read snippets. Eyes soft. This you. Brave from the start. We burned the painful entries in a backyard fire pit. Ashes scattering like released ghosts. First months as adults were raw bills biting. Jobs grinding. My clinic days drained. Stories of clients' hidden pains echoing mine. Liam's surveys kept him at sea. Returns salt-kissed and weary. Arguments flared over forgotten chores. Unspoken stresses, but makeup was magic. Apologies sealed in touches that reignited sparks. One autumn eve. Canal locks churning. We walked hand in hand. Remember the bathroom? I teased. He laughed, pulling me into shadows. Best mistake ever. Kisses deepened. World fading. Love a constant current. Yet trials persisted. My thesis published. Acclaimed bittersweet trolls online spewing hate. Forcing me offline. Liam shielded. Unplugging routers. Drawing baths. Your words matter, he said. Don't let them silence you. His turn came with a fieldwork scarestorm tossing his boat. Radio silence for hours. Panic clawed me. I paced docks till dawn. Reunion was tear-streaked. Hugs bruising. Thought I'd lost you. I choked. Never, he vowed. We're anchors. Anniversary marked year 1, rooftop dinner. City sprawl below. Candles flickered as he knelt not with ring, but a key. To our home. To us. Tears flowed. I pulled him up. kissing through joy. Life wove intricate friends' weddings. Our quiet commitments. Holidays blended families. Portland for Thanksgiving. Jamaica for Christmas. Bridges built slow. Dad's handshake with Liam turned firm. Mom's hugs lingered. Dreams shifted haunt. More hope. That bathroom door. Not curse, but portal. To love unyielding. Selves embraced. 2 years in. The rhythm felt eternal. But eternity tests. Liam's promotion meant more travel conferences in D.C. Dives off Hawaii, leaving gaps I filled with clinic overtime. Loneliness crept. A quiet thief. Manifesting in late-night scrolls through old photos. Fingers tracing his smile. One call from Maui. His voice crackling. Wish you were here. Ev. Waves like your laugh. Aches sweetened. But seeds of doubt sprouted. Was I holding him back? Landlocked while he soared. He sensed it upon return. Tan lines peeking from his collar as we unpacked at Alki Beach. Sand gritty between toes. Talk. He insisted. Bonfire crackling. Fears poured abandonment echoes from youth. Fear of fading into wallpaper. He listened. Then shared his own, the wanderlust clashing with roots we'd planted. I want adventures with you, he said. Not without. Resolution, a sabbatical plan. I negotiated leave. We booked a road trip route 101 south. Redwoods to Big Sur. Freedom tasted like coastal fog. Car radio crooning folk tunes as we chased sunsets. Stops blurred, crabbing in Depot Bay. Kissing in fern grottos. Motel nights tangled in salt stiff sheets. This is us, he murmured one dawn. Waves serenading. Unscripted. Back home. Recharged. We dove deeper couples therapy. Not for cracks, but polish. Sessions unpacked layers, my perfectionism rooted in parental praise. His resilience masking isolation. Tools emerged weekly check-ins. Date jars scribbled with whims. Intimacy bloomed. Vulnerable and vivid. Community anchored us. Volunteering at a youth center. Mentoring kids navigating closets we knew too well. One teen. Alex. Eyes wide like mine once. Confessed crushes. We shared our story. Watching walls crumble. You give hope, he said. Liam squeezed my hand under the table. We had it once. Pay it forward. But Gales returned. My mom's health scare diagnosis whispered over phone. Breast cancer stage 2. Portland rushed. Hospital smells sterile. Her hand frail in mine. Dad paced halls. Liam drove through night. Arriving with coffee and calm. Family, he said simply. Folding into our vigil. Chemo cycles blurred hair clippings. Nausea bouts, but her spirit shone. Jokes cracking through pain. Found your fire for me. She winked. Remission news with champagne tears. Backyard barbecue sealing gratitude. Liam grilled jerk chicken. Dad clapping his back. Good man you got. He grunted. Progress. Inch by inch. Career pivots beckoned. Clinic burnout loomed. A nonprofit offered outreach in rural Washington, bridging queer support to underserved towns. Hesitation gripped leaving Seattle's bubble. But Liam urged, your lights needed everywhere. He downsized travel for balance. our schedules sinking like tides. Move to Olympia was leap smaller city. Bigger lake views. New apartment overlooked Bud Inlet. Kayaks bobbing. Unpacking unearthed memories. That first towel. Now a tea cozy joke. Laughter echoed as we christened counters. Bodies familiar yet thrilling. Rural work challenge towns where rainbows hid. Clients whispering fears of jobs lost. Families fractured. Stories scarred. Evictions. Bashings. Suicide skirted. Nights. I'd collapse into Liam. His arms fortress. Changing the world. One heart. He'd soothe. Fingers combing my hair. His research yielded Fruita paper on ocean health. TEDx invite. I flew to the talk. Audience rapt as he wove science with passion. Closing. Conservation isn't just waves. It's the currents binding us. Backstage hug electric. Pride swelled. Our worlds merging. Anniversary 3. Hot air balloon over the Palouse. Wheat fields golden below. Wind whispered vows. He slipped a ring-simple silver band. Engraved unlocked. Will you? Breathless yes. World tilting in joy. Engagement news rippled parents tearful yes. Friends toasting. Planning wove whimsy. Beach ceremony. Potluck reception. Vows handwritten. But ripples turned waves. Liam's dad balked. Visit cancelled. Old wounds reopening. Not ready. Email read. Heartache hit. Liam withdrew. Smiles forced. I rallied letter penned. Truths laid bare. Love like ours heals. Doesn't harm. Reply came slow. Trying. Son. Crack widened. Jamaica trip mended more. Shared meals thawing ice. Proud. He finally said. Gripping Liam's shoulder. Of you both. Wedding dawn broke pink over the sound. Friends gathering on driftwood-strewn beach. Waves lapped as we stood barefoot. Hands clasped. Vows poured mine. You saw me first. Love me whole. His. Every door with you leads home. Rings exchanged. Kiss sealed under cheers. Gulls wheeling approval. Honeymoon backpacked Olympic trail stents pitched under stars. Campfires crackling stories. Bodies explored anew. Love matured yet playful. Haunts turned to harmony. I teased one night. Fireflies dancing. Life post-vows deepened. House hunt yielded craftsmen in Tacoma yard for gardens. Space for dreams. Clinic expanded. Liam consulted locally. Adoption talks surfaced fostering first. Hearts opened to mending others. One eve. Porch swing creaking. Sunset bleeding orange. He leaned head on my shoulder. Dreamed of this. He murmured. I kissed his temple. Me too. From that steamy start. Years layered, gentle foster kid placed. Toddler chaos joyful. Publications stacking. Impacts rippling. Hauntings. Faint echoes. Reminders of growth. That bathroom door swung wide. Birthing a life of fierce, tender love. Decades cusp brought reflections. Our home. Once sparse. Brimmed bookshelves groaning with memoirs. Walls gallery of trips, Machu Picchu hikes. Paris cafes. Foster journey peaked, little Jamie. 5. Wide-eyed from storms past. chose us permanent. Court day tears flowed. Her daddy's forever sealed souls. Parenting reshaped sleepless nights to school runs. Her giggles chasing fatigue. Liam's lullabies. My bedtime tales. Wove safety net. Challenges loomed. Her questions on why two dads. Met honest hearts. Love makes family. Any shape. Work evolved. My outreach book published Resilient Tides. Queer Journeys in the Pacific Northwest. Signings drawing faces like Alex's. Grown. Liam's nonprofit launched. Youth Ocean Camps blending his worlds. Collaborations sparked. Joint workshops. Stories merging. But midlife murmurs stirred. Liam's 40th loomed. Gray threaded his curls. Lines etched from laughs and labors. Insecurities surfaced mine. Body changes post-30s. Gym routines faltering. His vitality waning on waves. Date night at our first cafe. Candlelight soft. Confessions flowed. Still desire you. I vowed. Always will. Renewal came playful dance classes. Salsa hips grinding. Couples retreat in the San Juans. Massages melting tensions. Intimacy reignited. Deeper. Knowing. Family expanded. Jamie's school play. Her Rosa Parks fierce. Grandparents beaming mine from Portland. His from Jamaica. Bridges solid. Holidays hybrid. Turkey with jerk spice. Toasts to origins blended. Crisis shadowed gentle. Dad's heart scare. ICU beeps echoing moms. Drive north frantic. Liam drove. Jamie's hand in mine. Vigil held. His grip weak, but wink strong. Beat it again. Recovery slow. But stories shared his quiet acceptance of us. Pride voiced. You taught me love's brave. He rasped. Grief's undercurrent. Liam's mom passed sudden. Aneurysm quiet. Funeral rainlash Seattle. Her Irish lilt silenced. He shattered private. Waves crashing his grief. I held space. Jamie drawing rainbows for Nana Sky. Healing wove slow trips to her homeland cliffs. Winds carrying whispers. Resilience shone. Jamie thrived soccer star. Questions curious. Can I like girls and boys? Hugs answered. Whoever makes your heart sing. Pride floats now with her sign. Love wins. Always. Career peaks. My TED Talk. Stage lights warm. Echoing Liam's. From hidden to heralded. Love unlocks. His documentary aired. Oceans narrated. Our story cameo bathroom anecdote light. Haunting turned triumph. Anniversary 10. Vow renewal. Beach same. Jamie flower girl giggling. Words evolved. Through storms and sunrises. You my constant. Rings polished. Kiss eternal. Parenting deepened bonds. Jamie's first crush boy from art class navigated gentle. Talks on consent. Hearts pure. Our example guided. Hands held public. Love modeled loud. Challenges persisted. Jamie's bully taunt. Freak family. Tears at dinner. We rallied school meeting. Community circle. Her strength mirrored ours. They're wrong. We're right. Travel dreams realized. Family gap year. RV looping states Grand Canyon echoes. NYC pride marches. Jamie's journal filled. Daddy's love like stars far, but guiding. Homecoming sweeter. Routines sacred. Evenings porch swinged. Jamie's head on laps. Stories spinning futures. Hauntings. Myths now. Told bedtime. Once. A door open surprise. Laughter chases. Love's legacy. Mid-40s brought clarity's lens. Jamie teen now. 14. Braces glinting sass. Crushes complicating. Her coming out bisexual. Flag pinned, proud mirrored mine. Tears pride mingled. Knew you'd get it. She grinned. Hugs fierce, always. Kiddo.